Welcome back to Pour It On, our podcast about male friendship and taking on life's challenges and joys together with authenticity and real talk. I am Ben Feller, your host for tonight's episode, calling in from chilly Brooklyn, New York. I see Sean, I see Chris, my friends and co-hosts. I've got a topic to jump into in just a minute, but before that, let me do a check-in. Gents, how you doing? Chris, I'll start with you.
Thanks for asking. It's good to be here with you guys. I'm doing well. Not a whole lot to report. I think the highlight of my life since I last saw you guys was the birthday party we threw for my wife on Friday with about 20 people, and it was glorious. And I may still be recovering from that, but it was worth every bit of it. So checking in with that, good, from a happy place.
Pour it on. That's awesome. I love it.
Pour it on. That's
Happy
right.
birthday.
Pour a lot of it on.
Recovering on Monday at 6:15 Central Time.
That's good. That's good stuff. Yes, a hangover of a certain age. I like it. Sean, how you doing?
Yeah, doing well. Good to be with you guys in the sunshine of California. Oh, you may not know the New England Patriots are playing the Super Bowl on Sunday. Just FYI, I don't think we knew that the last time we were together.
You know, I think our listenership skews towards the Pacific Northwest and Seattle.
Oh,
yeah, so
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, listeners. You can reach out. You can reach out to me at SeanEmerson@hey.com. Shoot me some hateful notes.
There are at least a few massholes who listen to our show. So.
Yeah,
go Pats. Go Pats.
That was nice. Nice plug there.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck to your team, Sean.
Thank you. That was I felt that in my chest, Ben. Thank you.
Well, not deeply, I hope.
Yes. No.
All right. So here's what I want to dive into with you guys is the question of the session is, what is a healthy life? I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Because there are things that we can do and should be doing to have a physically healthy life. There are things that we should do to have emotionally healthy, mentally healthy life. And then you could go spiritual too if you wanted to. It feels to me, for a variety of reasons, that I am besieged with inputs on this, from magnesium supplements at night to like meditation, protein, right? Sleep measurement tools. And it's almost overwhelming, I think, to a lot of people. Like, okay, so how many things do I have to get right to have a healthy life? And I'm just curious how you guys approach these things, and we can, break it down however you want. But just maybe even starting with the definition of it. Because right now it feels that so many people are cycling through so many different things to try to get at the goal. And we could just spend years trying. And I'm like, does anybody actually live one of these? Feel good about what they're doing, wake up modestly refreshed, have some sense of kind of balance, get the right amount of exercise. All I see in here is people either striving for that and feeling the weight of it, no pun intended, or like people that do marathons and Pilates and treat it like, going to get a cup of coffee. And they're like, how come everybody isn't doing this? I don't see a lot in the middle of like, yeah, I'm good. I'm healthy. Like, I look healthy. I feel healthy. My relationships are healthy. So I just want to dig into what is a healthy life, a realistically healthy life. Sean, namaste. Let me start with you. How do you even define it?
Boy, I have a lot of thoughts on this. Actually, the very first thing I thought about, what does it mean to live a healthy life is, maybe you need to reconsider desserts. But I love cookies. So, are we back
to baking already?
Yeah. So the first thing I say is, okay, I talk about this all the time, right? For me, it starts with joy. It's like, okay, healthy life is, do I have joy? Do I wake up in the morning and I'm excited about my life and whatever aspects about it there are? So it's like, seriously. So I was, when I was back in Chicago, I love Baskin Robbins chocolate chip ice cream. If you haven't had it, it's the best. And and I hadn't had it in a long time. And I'm driving by this one right by the house. I'm driving by. I'm like, I'm going in. I'm what? So over like, I don't know, a 3 week period, I had like 3 quarts, like a quart a week. And I'm like, this isn't healthy. But boy, am I joyful.
Yeah.
So I always go back to, I think first and foremost, it's about stress. It's about joy. It's about connection with other human beings. I'm big on movement. I mean, you guys know that. I mean, I think I'm not even going to call it exercise. I mean, I think movement is a big part of a healthy life. I will say we could do all these things, and I read today in the paper, or maybe it was yesterday, that they're readjusting the impact they think that our genetic makeup has on our longevity or our health. And that they used to think, oh, it's probably about 25%. Now they're saying it's about 50%. I tend to think it is more dominant than how we live our life. I mean, you were born with this, what we get. And I mean, you could do a lot of different things, but and mess it up or make it better. But in the end, if you get what you got, those are my early thoughts. But healthy life is a joyful life.
Great start.
Before I start to attempt to answer your question, which is a difficult one, I just want to say that maybe my favorite food in my 56 years of life was a flavor at Baskin Robbins that they stopped making when I was a teenager. You guys are gonna like roll your eyes, but it was banana marshmallow ice cream.
Wow.
Maybe I'm the only one who liked it, but I loved it. And then they stopped making it. So
You must have been the only one that liked it. They stopped making it.
yeah, I need to maybe talk to my therapist about that to get over it. But back to the question, what is a healthy? I mean, like, look, you can, like you started to do this, Ben. You can roll out all the metrics, blood pressure. I mean, even on our watch, we can tell blood pressure and EKG abnormalities and shit like that. But the thing that I keep going back to is exactly what Sean said. Is I feel like it's almost as if the people in my life have a better sense of when I'm happy and joyful and therefore healthy than I do sometimes, right? Like this is not something that is contained by our watch or in our own heads. Like people know when we're healthy and happy. My dad was physically sick, and we knew that before he did, probably, but. Yeah, I would start with there, and I know we're going to go to a lot of different places, but I think that it's if I'm showing up in the world and walking through the world and maybe making other people's experience of life a little bit more joyful, that's when I know I'm healthy. Is that a cop out?
No, I don't think it's a cop out, and it doesn't surprise me that both of you honed in on a definition of healthy, which is joyful and bringing that energy to yourself and to others. And I see it as that kind of prompts my question, right? What are the things besides the mindset we talked about in our last episode that can allow you to do it without getting consumed with all these different things you need to do? Like I know those metrics are on my app because of the phone, the watch I wear, Chris, but I don't want to look at that every day. It's just too much. It feels unhealthy to kind of be tracking this much. But by the way, what was the flavor of that ice cream? Banana marshmallow?
Banana marshmallow.
So there are just so many artisan ice cream companies out there right now. I bet if you went to one and said, if you make this, I'll be a Sean Emerson customer, which is to say I'll get a quart a week for 52 weeks, right? And I'll help you scale this up. I mean, maybe you could be like an N of one. I would come and try some.
It'll never be the same, Ben. You know how that works, right? Like the marshmallow was like a cream. Oh man. Anyway.
Okay. We'll save that for our recipe episode, which is coming up. So Sean, let me go back to what you said about movement. And you guys will hear the themes of these questions as I go through them. It's less about how many steps is the right amount, and it's more about the commitment to it. So I have sort of adopted this mindset for way too long that if it's movement isn't enough. it's got to be certain. You got to feel a certain way. You got to duration, volume, sweat, measurement. And I don't think that that's true. I mean, I know that intuitively more is better than less and less is better than none. Um, but how do you incorporate movement and like how do you know when it feels like the right amount?
Yeah, I that's just it. I don't measure it. I mean, so so today was a crazy day. So I had walked or hiked 15 miles by 11:30 today. So it was a very
Wow.
it was a very active, moving day. And the thing is, I don't. It's just what I do. I don't feel. So I think this is really important. It's like if the commitment or the stress around doing it or not doing it, if there's more stress around,
Yeah.
well, I didn't do it, or you're feeling stressful when you do it because there's all these other things you should be doing or want to be doing. Is that good? I mean, is that I was thinking about as you were talking, what's worse for our health? To not go for a walk or to keep something that's really painful inside us that, I need to tell Chris. I mean, I'm really struggling with this thing and I'm holding it in. Is that worse for my health than sitting down, eating popcorn and watching a ball game or a movie? So that's what I start to think about is what. But if it's like, hey, I like to go for a walk and I want to go do a walk, then I think that's important. How do you make it a joyful experience rather than, how many steps do I got?
Yeah.
I mean, that goes back to Ben's lead in, which is like, look, there's different even categories of health. There's physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health. And I think one thing I'm guessing we would all agree on is those things are interrelated, right?
Yeah.
Like our physical health and like it's hard to show up for other people in your life, your partner, your kids, your colleagues, your friends, if you're not physically healthy. Like I get all that. And so what I don't want to say is like physical health is not important. It's all about mental health. But I try it, what it ends up becoming for me is like this balancing act where I just want to try to keep everything in mind and notice when something is bottoming out and interrogate that. For example, went outside twice today and it was to my garage, which is 40 feet behind my house. And am feeling like, fuck, I need to get out. I need to move more. And I surely wish I had the mountains in my backyard like you do, Sean, but there's no reason I can't. I could not have given my dog a big ass walk that would have done me good too. So I'm paying attention to those things, and it's not just the watch.
Yeah.
Can I ask Chris a quick question? So were you thinking about that in terms of I have to do it, or were you thinking about no, I would like this. This would be good for me to go do that. When I'm done, I feel right. I feel so good after I do something like that. Or was it no? I need to be doing that.
No. It wasn't a need to be.
Yeah.
I know that when I do that, I feel better, and my dog is happier, which makes me happier as well. And I think that the reason it didn't happen today was because I was like, and this is where the interrelation comes in. I was having a rough mental health day with like career stuff and all that. And, it's funny how people sometimes, go down a rabbit hole or I'm not even sure what the right terminology is, but they get paralyzed by a dip in some form of their health, and then it leads to other things. So that's what was going on for me today, but I'm going to remedy that tomorrow. Now, I did meditate today. I did do my 200 push-ups. I stretched, so it wasn't a total loss. I don't want you guys to worry about me, but that's kind of like one of those days where like, okay, can't continue that for long or it's going to be, not good.
Yeah. And because they are so interrelated and that's so well established, how do you do all those things? Right. So, and today was a good example. Like, I appreciate that you dropped in the things that you did do that are part of your routine. But if my son, is with me and I think about the things that he has to get done for tomorrow, right? I got to get his water polo bag ready or prod him to, think about his breakfast, think about his lunch. Does he need money, Apple Pay for lunch? Are there forms to fill out? Like, I'm not going to go 2 for 5 on those things and 3 things fall. I'm going to get them all done. They have to get done. That's how I see it. Maybe the 6th or 7th optional thing would be like, did I remember to follow up with that teacher about something, that didn't have to get done that day, but the essentials are going to get done. Well, if you think about a healthy life for us, those 5 things often don't get done. Sometimes it's 0 for 5. Like I'll get to work on time. I'll get the things done, but not the walk, not the meal prep, right? Not the meditation, not the right sleep. And as a result of that, it leads to less joy. So that's why I'm saying is like, okay, well, if you know these things and there's lots of different ways to get to the right answers, could be the 200 push-ups for you or the 15 miles for you. It's like, they can't be optional. We can push them to the side. And that's what I think the things for me is like, how do you build them in so that they don't feel like work? And they also feel great when you do them. You said that a second ago, Sean. When you feel great about something, like, I'm so glad I got that done. Like, I try to remember those moments. It's like, do this again. Do this again. When you passed on that late drink or that late night snack and you just went to bed, like, didn't that feel better? By the way, how was it that you did 15 miles before 11:30 in the morning?
Well, he's up at like 4:30. He's a madman.
Yeah, it was a series of events that. But I'm up early. So walked on the treadmill, walked for coffee with my wife, rode my bike down to the mountain, did a long hike. Yeah. So yeah.
Wow.
But I just, for me, probably the biggest variable that's going to help me in anything. And when you think about healthy, it's even defining, what does that mean? I mean, healthy is, am I present in engagement? Engaging with you guys, connecting with you guys. Am I thoughtful and think? I mean, so it's not even just is it my blood pressure and my healthy is how am I living my life? And I've said it. I think I've said it before. The sleep is huge. I mean, I'm almost kind of. My wife is like, eye rolling constantly. So last night we went to this thing down in town. It was a candlelight ensemble. They were 3 violins and a cello playing Coldplay music.
Oh, I've been to one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was great. It was great. And it started at 8:30, which is usually the time we're thinking about going to bed. And so I'm like, I'm telling him, like, the biggest thing about sleep is a regular schedule. And so I'm pretty anal about that because it's such a life changer, I think. I mean, comparing when I'm not sleeping great to when I am, if there's one thing in my life that is the difference, 100%.
And since you're anal about it, as you put it, what's your minimum requirement?
I'm trying to 7 hours. I'm shooting, and when I was at a time that was less focused on it, I was 5. Maybe 6. I don't know. But yeah, now I'm trying to get 7 hours, and I'm pretty good about it because I love the morning, so I love getting up early, and so getting to bed at a good time that gets me 7 hours is really kind of an important thing.
Did you make it through the concert? I just want to know.
Yeah. Yes.
Awake? Were you
I did.
awake the whole time?
Yeah. I got to bed about 10:30 or something like that. And
no, I get what you're saying. I just came back from this trip to Vegas that we talked about last time to speak at a conference, and then we stayed on and had some fun. And like, I used to go there every year with friends back in the day, and I never remember thinking about what time we went to sleep. But we had these late dinner reservations or late-ish, and I was like, several of them in a row. I'm like, what is going on?
What's late? What, like 9:30?
No, the dinners were like 8:30,
Yeah.
That's late.
Yeah.
around that.
Yeah.
No, and then you're done eating, and then kind of what are you doing after that? We saw
Yeah.
a show and then went to a dinner, and it started late. But it's just kind of like the whole thing. If you do it cumulatively, and you've got plans early in the morning, it's like, okay, where's the sleep coming in? So I'm really working on that too. Again, it brings me back to my point. It's that I've had phases where I've gone for walks and measured that and felt really good. It not even necessarily felt good about, wow, I got in 8 miles, but the fact that I did it.
Yeah. Sure.
You know, that's
Yeah.
always been the thing for me. Not how does it physically feel, but the knowing that I did it and stay with it. And then there have been times when I've gotten more sleep, although not really. And certainly been times when I've not been drinking. But all of them at once is like elusive.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was thinking this sort of the same thing is, self-care is the part of life that gets forsaken first, right? And that changes over the course of our lives, right? When we had infants, you didn't have a choice but to make them, the absolute number one first priority because they can't take care of themselves. Then they become preteens and you're kind of like, oh, I'm annoyed with you. So, but then they grow up or whatever. And so we're going to go through these different stages. So my point is there's never a formula where you're like, okay, I'm going to live 89 years on this planet and I'm going to walk 8 miles a day and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. The other challenge for me, and this is sort of a non sequitur, I guess, but I swam competitively as a kid, tried multiple times in my adult life to get in the pool, always did it by myself. And then about 10 years ago, I discovered a master swim team. And now suddenly there's this team, right? And there's this additional layer of accountability. Like you got to show up for your team. You could probably make the same analogy with our kids or whatever, or with our partners, but I find like maybe it's a lack of willpower. I'm not sure what it is, but like that maybe is also a part where it's like, okay, it's not just about swimming 3,000 yards. It's about the mental health benefits of swimming 3,000 yards in a lane with four people and we're holding each other to the interval, So again, just a long-winded way of drawing that same analogy.
Well, no, I think that's great. I think there's a fallacy to New Year's resolutions unless they really work for you. It's like it's odd to pick just the first day of the year to set off on a different life course. And so I'm really trying to think about that in this time of year. Like, okay, probably because I'm coming off a Vegas trip, but I was like, all right, time to reset here and put the self-care in a reasonable way first, and then put all the other things around it and not the other way. And, I used to, when I covered the White House and both the presidents I covered, President Bush and Obama, were very disciplined about their exercise and in their own way and always seemed fit. And I'm like, God, if they could find the time, right? All those briefings that they have to do first thing in the morning, plus the nightmares they probably had at night.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, they're up and they're getting the right breakfast. And I'm like, okay, I've got no excuses left. So what about...
Wait. So did that impact at that time when you were doing the White House?
Yeah.
Did it impact how you were able to do that? Or
No.
It did not? Yeah.
No, because... except for, as Chris likes to hear, when I had to run to catch the motorcade.
He was running.
He's running. You gotta run. No, because I was always chasing, and then if it got to the weekend and I was off deadline, no, I was having fun and kind of partying.
Yeah.
But also things were easier then. That stage of life, that was a long time ago now. So, rest and metabolism and all that stuff.
Right.
And then when I became chief White House correspondent, I was never off. There was never a time, when I was off. So I had even more excuses. And that's what I mean. It has built up a pattern of like, if I get to it, or when I'm not feeling good about myself, or something like the doctor says you really have to work on that, those are forcing mechanisms. I bet if I saw the mountains in the background, I would go do that, Sean, your kind of thing. But I think about my schedule and I'm like, no, I wouldn't have done it today, and it's freezing here. And so but you got to start somewhere. And what I'm looking for is the most healthy thing for me would be a framework of joy and positivity,
Yeah.
and not you need to have to get rid of these things, but more of like what would make you feel good. And that's just the shift I'm trying to make. And so I wanted to hear how you guys did it. I mean, Chris, are there any other things that you do that you consider to be habits that help you maintain a healthy life?
You know, I'm not the poster child for this. Let's just be clear. I've always been athletic. I like to play. So I play pickleball. I like games,
Hmm.
right? And so I also love to hike. And I like you said, Ben, if those mountains that are in Sean's backyard were in my backyard, there's no doubt I would be up there a lot. But a couple things that I do, and I've been doing them for 13 or 14 months now. They're both activities on the Mental app, which is a sponsor of If You've Come This Far. And one of them is these push-ups. So I do push-ups with a counter in sets. I do 200 a day. And so that way, I mean, that, in a way that's a crutch, because I'm like, okay, I didn't ride the bike today, or didn't walk the dog as far as I should have, but at least I got my push-ups in, right?
Hmm.
So, but I'll take it, like a little is better than nothing. The other thing that I do, and this is not a workout regime, but also under the Mental app, I do cold showers every day. Now, are you guys cold shower or cold exposure people at all?
No, I would probably say that I'm a wimp on that. I want to hear it goes to my point again. I want to hear the benefit, not the scientific benefit or what the literature says. I want to know how you feel.
I have to cut. You said, oh, I think I'm a wimp. I have to check that. You don't have to say that you're a wimp because you're not taking a cold shower. He already knows, oh, how are you guys with cold showers? He knows how I feel about it. I think it's bullshit. So when you say, oh, I'm wimpy because I want to do it, Ben, I'm absolving you. It's not about wimpy. It's not about any of that.
You coming in with a strong point of view on this
I'm
topic.
very strong.
I didn't know.
And my partner knows. He knows how I feel about it.
All right, Chris.
This is set up.
Tell us about your cold showers, Chris.
I will go on to explain to you what I have explained to Sean, is that I don't like the cold. I've always hated the cold. My swim team will try to swim deep into the year. There are people in Chicago who will swim year round in Lake Michigan. That's cray cray, right? Like, I do not. I'm
That's
never going to do
cold.
that. Yeah, and I don't even endorse it, right? But for them, great. Here is the thing. I've not done the long-term case study. I don't know if my blood pressure is better, or if other metrics of my physical health are better because of these cold showers. But what I do know, and I apply this to other parts of my life as well, like philanthropy investing, is like, I know that I feel better, even if only for a short time, after I take one of these cold showers.
Yeah.
Look, it's a hot shower followed by 90 seconds to 2 minutes of cold, with some sort of breathing exercise or some sort of mantra. It varies by day. And that's good enough for me.
The mantra, let this be over, let this be over, let this be over.
There's two guys that train on this app. You guys, it's really great. You should try it. Pay $40 for a year and give it a shot. But one of the guys is a retired Navy SEAL. Obviously, he's a badass. The other guy is a comedian who does a lot for the app, and he's talking. His training is, he's talking about shrinkage and stuff like that happens with cold exposure. But again, that's not the point. The point, Sean, is that, I mean, I don't know. How do you guys feel about things that are untested or unproven? Does that, you're like, oh, I don't have evidence of this, I'm not going to do it?
I respect the fact that it's working for you, and and after you're done, you feel like there's been. I was just Ben. I feel like it was a question of his manhood that he wasn't going into a cold shower, and so I was just defending. I was coming to his defense to say, yeah, don't worry about that. But no, the fact that it works for you is great. I think that's awesome.
I would not have thought, as the host of tonight, that this would have turned into an episode about Ben's manhood. If it was Or I could have just led with that, and it would have been a really interesting conversation. I can tell you that
I think I'm up next. That'll be the topic.
Pick your own manhood, Sean. Stay out of mine. No, I have heard from people who've done it and read about that, like the value of kind of like jump starting your system, and that's great. And sometimes when I'm like, the whole splash cold water on your face can be invigorating. I just mean from the wind perspective.
Right.
I like hot water better. It feels better.
Yeah, me too.
Everybody does. Anyone who tells you they don't is lying. But I think maybe there's a secondary benefit for me of doing that, which is a routinized thing, right?
Yeah, right.
It's like Sean talked about earlier, wanting to get to bed at what time you go to bed? 6:30 p.m.
Yeah,
something like that. But just having that, something consistent day after day after day is, I think there's value in that.
Well, I think there's the most value in that, and that's what I've been striving for, because as part of a much bigger picture that you guys know about me, if you were to deconstruct the things I do that are healthy versus unhealthy, and all of the things, like staying in touch with friends and reading and trying to get good sleep and eating well, it's like there are a lot of things that I do are healthy, or would seem like I treat them as normal, but like, yeah, you're making good choices there, and things that definitely aren't. But there's not a routinization to it. It comes and goes, and that's the part that. And when you don't have discipline and routines on things, your results are the same, right? You go up and down. You feel better sometimes. Sometimes you get sick. Sometimes you don't. And so if you know that, right, it's like it's the old story of like, there's two routes I could take to get to the tip of Manhattan. One's on the east side, one's on the west side. I guess you can go up the middle through the city, but why would you do that? And one is absolutely full of traffic, and the other one isn't. Like, why are we debating this? Take the one that isn't, right?
Yeah.
Well, if there might be all kinds of reasons why you end up taking the one with traffic. Yeah. Maybe your appointment is over that way. Maybe your friends live over there. You're used to going that way. The shortcuts. You choose a different time of day. Well, if you know these are the things that will lead to mental health and stable weight and lack of irritability, just do those things, and yet I find myself grabbing another cup of Starbucks on the subway ride in the afternoon or wherever I'm going. You know why? Because it just feels good in the moment. It brings me joy. And that's just to pick one example, the bouncing around effect. I'm exhausted by it. Just get into a good routine. That's what I'm talking about.
I've talked about this before too in slightly different contexts, but the routine of going to an office, this is one of I think the sad parts for our younger generation who work remotely everywhere. Like, you're working from your home, the distractions are abundant, you get away with all sorts of things. So just by virtue of getting onto the train or into the car to go and, maybe forcibly have to connect with other people, I think that's a huge loss in this sort of remote focused world that we now live in. And I get why it is that way, but I kind of feel sorry for our younger generation. That is not even to mention the loss of learning that happens because you don't get to slide your desk chair over to your buddy or your colleague. So that's something that I long to get back to.
Yeah. So that's, Sean, if you're taking notes, Chris's remedy for a healthier life is for me to work more. Yeah, that's good. That's great.
At the office.
You're taking good notes, Ben. You're taking good notes.
All right. Well, I'll wrap us up here with just a final thoughts question about just moments maybe that you've had in your life where you've created a healthier life for yourself. Maybe coming out of a funk and you've gotten to a better place, or you connected with somebody who gave you a tip. Just maybe that one moment of healthier living that has stayed with you. Any thoughts come to mind?
Yeah, I don't know the exact moment. I will say that I think lifestyle that I was living where I was not sleeping I mean, where it was like, okay, how can I burn the candle at both ends, whether it was because of work or play or what have you. It was not good in so many ways. I mean, it's interesting. You know, I made the comment about a healthy life is a joyful life, and some could argue that I would look at that and say, well, that was joyful. You know, I was whatever I was doing was joyful, and I wasn't sleeping because it was joyful. And I would have been kidding myself if I was saying that back then. There wasn't mostly joy. And so, you know, making the decision to say, okay, this is more important for me to be who I want to be, is probably the biggest thing. Because I've always been active, so the sleep thing probably was the biggest.
I'll give you three things, Ben. One is the times in my life where I've sought help, whether it was via therapy or via Men Living men's group. That's one. Two, I've mentioned this already, is when I joined a swim team as, I don't know, 40 something. So that was that team aspect plus the physical aspect. And then three, I would say, is this podcast and the other podcast that Sean and I do, because that is like a turbo injection of human connection in my life that makes a lot of difference, I believe. Again, not scientifically proven, but I feel like it makes a difference.
That's fantastic. I was going to say thank you to both of you for those thoughts and for the whole conversation. The podcast, this one for me, has been a huge source of healthiness because it's led to joy. I mean, sometimes friends ask me questions and they say, "How's it going?" And I'm like, you know, the only metric that matters right now is that I'm having fun with it. You know, there is another metric that we hope that people who are listening are having fun. That's also important. But it's plenty enough of a goal for me right now to feel great about it. And my gosh, Chris, what was that turn of phrase you just said? A turbo injection of what?
Connection.
Of human connection. That's what we're after here. That's fantastic. So we hope you got that turbo injection, friends, from this episode of Pour It On. Please let us know, as always, what you think. We're active on our LinkedIn pages, and you can drop comments on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening, or drop us direct notes as well. We'd love to hear it. So we hope that this conversation has led to a little joy for you all and some thoughts about a healthier life. I always learn something from my friends. So Sean, Chris, thanks for the great conversation.
Peace and love.
Stay healthy.